Hello and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're already part of the Sprinkle Squad. I'm so happy to see you again, and today we're working on a married couple's first home, which I thought would be super adorable. And also, fun fact, I literally finished the whole exterior of this house. I even planned out the whole floor plan, and then my game crashed and I hadn't saved. So I lost everything. Luckily, it wasn't the whole computer, so I still had my recording. So I literally just went back to my recording and duplicated what I had already done. And luckily, this isn't a huge house. Since I figured this was a first home, it's like a 1-bedroom, smaller, maybe an older home, so something like a newlywed couple might be able to afford. And I tried to go with a little bit of a darker wood tone. I ended up doing a lot of base game for the exterior since I figured that's kind of the era I was going for, if that makes sense. I feel like the floor plan is a little more closed off, just like I feel like older homes used to be. Nowadays we have the open floor plan and everything, but I figured having a more closed off floor plan would be really nice. And I also end up swapping out this exterior wallpaper. So this one has the built-in white columns on the corners, and I decided I didn't like the white columns. So luckily I found the same swatch but without the corners on it. And what's funny though is when I went back to rebuild the house, for the life of me, I had the hardest time finding the swatch without the columns on it. And I don't know why. I just literally it just took me forever to find it, but I did finally figure it out. And I thought about doing a 2-bedroom, but I just figured maybe it didn't quite fit, but I did end up doing a half bath. I figured that these Sims liked entertaining and liked having friends over, that kind of thing. Maybe they're the first ones of their friend group that has a home, a place to go hang out that's maybe a little bigger than apartment or living at home. So I thought maybe they would really like to use this space for entertaining. So basically I have what was originally a living room space with the fireplace and then an attached formal dining room. But I figured they end up swapping it around because there was, I feel a little more room in the dining room. So they would rather use that as their entertaining space in terms of a living room versus the intended dining room, if that makes sense. And I also figured I don't use carpet very often, but I thought in this home we definitely would. I feel you don't see carpet quite as often. I don't know, maybe that's just me, especially in living spaces anyways. I feel it's common to still have carpet in bedrooms, but maybe not so much in living rooms and things like that. And I think it's kind of funny that they decide to swap it given that there's carpet in there, so you have carpet in the dining room, which I don't know, to me sounds like it would be kind of awful. Although I say that as someone who does have a rug under their dining room table. So I don't know, I guess maybe it's not that different than having a rug there, since that is something that I have. But I don't know, I like rugs. I feel it kind of brings the room together. And especially my house is all open floor, and it has an LVP flooring. So there's echoing, and I feel that helps a little bit with that too, just for sound. And you could see there my screen just went black. That is when my game crashed. I literally just sat there with my mouth just wide open, I didn't even know what to do. I was just so confused. Luckily, I will say my game hasn't crashed in a really long time, so I will say that I'm really lucky. And I did leave the landscaping pretty simple. I didn't really add any kind of patio or anything. Of course, if you wanted to download this, it's already on the Sims 4 gallery under my ID, Spice and Sprinkles, all one word, all lowercase, and down in the description if you want to see it written out. And if you want to add on a back porch, that would be kind of cute, maybe off of what is going to be the bedroom. So in terms of, I feel they got this home, maybe it was a better price, and then they decided they wanted to kind of, spruce it up a little bit, maybe using some of their money to actually redo stuff. And I figured they thought, you know what? I think that if we add all of the counters we can, then that'll add a lot of value in terms of when we go to resell it. So they end up actually using basically as many counters as they can in here, cabinetry, and they really like the color green, so they kind of went with that. Although for their kitchen renovation, they did run out of money, so they ended up having to go with some not so nice appliances. And they also decided to skip out on the alarm and a fire alarm. So if you want to use this home, I would definitely suggest adding those, but I thought maybe it was just good for the storyline here. And again, I figured this is their first home. They really wanted to make it look nice. They wanted these statement pieces, so they used these really interesting looking lights here in the kitchen as well. And I also figured, since they like entertaining, there's just going to be a bunch of like clutter on the counter for entertaining. So there's also, like, I know that is a bathroom box, but I figured it's just something they had, so they ended up having that on the counter. And since they're doing so many renovations, I figured they were just like, let's just leave the paint and the paintbrush out on the counter so we don't have to get it out all the time in order to actually finish our renovations. So I just kind of left that out there. I figured, maybe that makes sense for them. And I will say also, when we get to the foyer, they really wanted to have a statement foyer. When you walk in, they really wanted to wow people. So they went again with like a bluey green kind of wallpaper, and we went with this tiger print because it just kind of popped. And they wanted a nice entryway table, but again, they were kind of running out of budget. So they ended up just using this old table, and since they like hosting, they ended up having this like Halloween tablecloth, so they decided to just kind of use that by the front door. And in terms of, artwork here, they ended up actually just printing out a bunch of photos from their honeymoon and just kind of putting a big collage there right when you walk in the door. They figured everybody would really like to see that when they walked in, and kind of just adding in a nice statement light piece there as well. And of course, I figured that they painted and updated that fireplace, and they do end up bringing the tile from the kitchen there into the dining room space and putting that underneath the fireplace. Safety first. They don't want, the whole house to go up in flames. And they figured for a dining room, they maybe should do some paneling in here. And they actually found these chairs on sale when they were at the home store. And so they actually ended up, unfortunately, there was only like one of each color left, so they kind of got what they could. And we end up actually using their Christmas tree over in the corner. They figured we don't have a place to store it, so we might as well use it like as a plant over in the corner. And of course, they want a little bit of art on the wall, and so they actually end up finding the sad clown painting at a yard sale and figured, oh, he's cute, we should take him home. Even though the people told him, it's probably cursed, they thought it's okay, we'll just bring it home anyways. And for their living room, they really wanted to bring the outdoors in, so they really wanted to use this like viney wallpaper, and they didn't really have a place for their TV, so they figured we'll just use our luggage. We don't really go on vacation anyways, we'll just put that over in the corner. And since they like entertaining, they figured, if we want to sit here and talk with our friends, we should probably just face the chairs towards each other, so we can have a better conversation. And we do end up putting some, the video game consoles. We put several of those over there by the TV. And I also figured, if they're like sitting and hanging out, they're not going to want to go all the way back to the kitchen to get a snack or something. So we end up putting a little fridge over there, and I figured they were kind of into Doctor Who maybe, so they have a giant like blue, I know it's not actually the TARDIS, but it is, a phone booth, so that's kind of what it is. And they really wanted a statement half bath here, really wowing people when they go to use the restroom when they come over. And they also decided to kind of leave that little hallway space unfinished. They figured people don't really spend time in there anyways, so they're going to get to that, later. Again, having the paint and the paintbrush in the kitchen, they'll probably get to that at some point. And of course, they really like hosting, and it's kind of sad not to have a second bedroom and a place for someone to stay, so they ended up actually using a bunk bed in their bedroom so they could have a friend stay over if they wanted to, right? I mean, who doesn't want to stay in the bedroom with newlyweds? That would be a perfect plan here. So again, we end up putting a TV in here because I figured, these Sims like playing games, that kind of thing, so they would have that in there. And we do also include a mini fridge in here as well, so they can just kind of hang out in any room of the house and not have to actually get up and go anywhere. So I thought that ended up being a really cute idea, so they didn't have to go all the way to the kitchen. And since this is like the farthest room from the kitchen, I figured they would also have a microwave in here so that they can have little snacks in the middle of the night too. And again, just kind of taking that blue that they had in their bedroom and bringing that over into their bathroom here with, of course, the talking toilet, because how cool is that? And I hope everyone is having a wonderful, safe, and happy April Fool's Day. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And I hope you have a really sweet day. Bye, everybody.